Melissa Wu, the Commonwealth Games silver medalist, started slowly in the 10-metre platform competition before posting 2 perfect dives. The 14-year-old diving prodigy won the national 10-metre title last week and is considered a medal chance at March's World Championships in Melbourne.
I can definitely do a lot better. I missed most of my dives today, so I can do a lot better than that, and I hope that I can do a really good performance next time.
Wow. What a champion then and now. Triple Olympia Melissa Wu, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Do you recognise that little girl?
Barely. It's a long time ago.
Amazing. What, you were 14 there?
I think I was about 14 back then. Yeah, I think that was Youth Olympics.
You know that
maybe?
last dive we just saw where you made no splash at all? Did you get a 10?
I can't remember that far back, honestly. But apparently I missed most of my dives.
Very good.
I just need to, before we get more to you, we did play in our top 5 this dive from the, well, dive's probably overstating it. Have you ever had anything as graceful as that happen to you?
I have. That's actually footage from me last week. No, I have had a few. I've had a few stacks onto the concrete in the water. It's just par for the course in diving. You've got to be brave and be prepared to take a few belly whackers along the way.
But we saw that image of you were a little kid. What was the youngest age, the age when you first climbed to the top of that 10 metres platform?
Yeah.
And were you shitting yourself?
Yeah, I was about 13. I wasn't shooting myself then because you start with really basic dives, but as they got harder, and they got hard pretty quick up there, that's when you really start to crap yourself. And I used to get really anxious about it, and yeah, as I mentioned, you wipe out all the time in diving. So, of course, as I was learning my dive list, I wiped out a lot of times, and the teachers at school were asking me if things were okay at home. They didn't believe me that it was from the water. I tried to tell them.
Did you turn up to school black and blue?
Yeah, they were like, water can't do that. I'm like, well, I'm hitting it pretty hard. They're like, no, that's impossible.
So why do you keep going back for the training and everything? What's the buzz in your sport? Because, you know, Greg would tell you what the buzz is in league, and every athlete does it for a certain reason. What moment are you chasing?
I think, like, as a younger athlete, definitely it was really scary, and it always is really scary. But I think that feeling of when you accomplish it and when you nail that dive, whether that's in training or in competition, just that feeling of hitting perfection is just an amazing feeling that you can't really recreate. And also, it's a bit scary. So I think just as the older I get, I think the more scared I get. So
Do you know when you hit that it is perfection? Does it feel like something?
Yeah, you can feel. You can feel when you do it well, and you can feel when you don't do it well, obviously. But yeah, that feeling of hitting the water and absolutely nailing it, you just know, and you actually kind of slide through the water.
Commonwealth Games gold. You must have known that was going okay.
That actually was not a very good dive, and I didn't know, and that's actually me telling myself off at the end.
Tony,
like,
you should be a diving judge.
Yeah.
It's 10 from the Russian judge.
And there's the splash coming up,
See,
and that's me shaking my head.
So it is true, no splash is a good perfect dive.
Yeah, and that wasn't one, but yes, no splash is ideal. Yeah, that's what you want.
Melissa, your career has been challenging in part. You started so young, and you've been pretty open about times having depression, and you'd had to fight your way through that. How difficult was it, and you know, how did it affect you as a youngster?
Yeah, it was super difficult. I think from a young age, having that pressure from the program that I grew up in, where it was definitely, you were training in a squad and you wanted to kind of be a team, but at the same time you were sort of pitted against each other in that, you know, only the top however many athletes could stay in the squad, and they would let divers go quite frequently. So I definitely grew up with a lot of fear of not being able to maintain my place in that squad. And I think then growing up with athletes a lot older than me, I really struggled with that. And I was really close with my coach, but then I got to a certain level and I had to move up to the next coach who we didn't gel quite as well, and I just really felt a lot of the pressures, and they weren't so supportive of school. There are a lot of different things mixed with that, and that was a really tough time for me, and that's actually when I made the decision to move from Brisbane to Sydney. And yeah, things changed for me since coming here. I've been here ever since and really loving it, but definitely for me that was a tough time. That was, yeah, it took probably a few years to get out of it. I had to work really hard on my mindset to kind of turn that around.
Synchronised diving, obviously you've done very well in that as well, and looking towards, and not qualified yet, obviously you love that for Olympics and an individual. Who are you working with? I think we've got some images of you. You train in water and also on land,
yeah.
it seems.
Yeah, we do both. So I've been training with Olivia O'Rourke in training. She trains with me in Swiss. We've had a bit of trouble, obviously with COVID, we haven't been able to travel interstate, and there's not a huge amount of depth in diving in Australia, so a lot of our synchro partnerships are with interstate athletes. So we've been working together really well, which has been a lot of fun. At this point, getting a spot for Australia in the Olympic Games is not so likely. We're first reserve now. We've just had the World Cup cancelled, so we haven't had an opportunity to send a team there to fight for that position. But I think we'll keep preparing anyway. In the meantime, you never know what can happen. So.
And they've got Olympic trials coming up in June for an individual event, so you're still hopeful of obviously qualifying then. How does one, I love asking athletes how they all cope during COVID. How do you train when you don't have a pool or access to a pool during COVID? What do you do? I'm actually super lucky. I actually, with my brother, run like a weightlifting gym out of our garage. So we've got a lot of, it's just floor spacing. So I have all the crash mats and I bought a trampoline. As soon as we went into lockdown, the first thing I bought was a trampoline. Put it out the back and yeah, I was good to go with training. I could somersault at home, which is a big part of our training. Like you mentioned, we train on land and in the water. So maintaining that kind of somersault and fitness momentum is key. So I was able to keep that going and then just transfer that to the pool when I got back into it.
Go. Oh, no, just going to say, you said before you said you'd landed on concrete. Is that right? I just, all of us collectively winced when we said that. How does that, like, how did you survive?
So it was 3 metres high. So I actually had just moved from, like, to the Gold Coast and was training in a new pool, and the railing was sort of very thin and not very safe, and the platform didn't go like a big rectangle, it kind of cut in, and I was like about to learn a new dive, and I was showing my sister, I'm going to learn this, and I sort of rolled and fell off the platform, and I had to like kind of turn around, and it went really slow in my head, and I was like, I'm going to turn around and put my hands down and my feet are just going to follow, and my body just went like into the concrete.
See, that's because they say that landing in water from very high is like landing on concrete, but you actually did land on concrete,
which is softer. Can confirm it's a bit softer than the concrete.
Thank you so much for being here, and let's hope we do see you at the Olympics as well.
Good luck.
So much.
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Lovely to chat with you.